How's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching another video. So tonight we're going to compare two of Spyderco's awesomest lightweight blades. I'm talking about the Native 5 versus the Para 3 lightweight. Now the Para 3 currently is my EDC knife, but the question is, if you had to choose between these two knives, which one would you pick? Want to check the actual specs of these knives, or if you want to purchase them at the ending of the video, make sure to check the links in the description below. Alright guys, here is your reigning champion, the Para 3, and we know this is a Para 3 because of this awesome deep carry wire clip and this little bump here by the thumb hole. The Native 5 is pretty much flat right up here by the thumb hole, and you can see the differences in the clips here. Now these two knives have a lot of similarities as far as weight and dimension goes, so let me show you right off the start here with a quick weight comparisons. And remember, for me, I consider a lightweight EDC knife right around the weight of a deck of cards like this. So that's going to come in right around 3.4, without the box 3.2 ounces. Let's get the Para 3 in here. That's coming in at 2.4 ounces, well under a deck of cards. Here is your Native 5, also at 2.4 ounces, so both lighter than a deck of cards. And normally I like to use the length of a Sharpie pen for my EDC knives, so I don't want them longer than a Sharpie pen. Here's the Native 5, that's going to fit in there easily. And of course, the Para 3, being very similar in length, is also going to fit in there. I'm going to turn these around here so you can see just how big of a difference it makes to have that hump there on the Para 3. But they're basically the same length. And as far as thickness goes, at least on the top half of the handle, I tried to get it no thicker than the size of an unbroken set of chopsticks. So I'm going to bring in the Native 5 right here. I'm going to stack it right on top of each other so you can see that. Alright, that's pretty much all covered up there. On to the Para 3. Get a side by side here. Again, very similar. That's going to easily fit within there. So chopstick test passed. And just to show you how wide it is up here, what I'm going to do is use the width of a ruler here. So I'm going to kind of bottom this out as flat as I can, just level it out like this. You can see that hump sticks out to right about there. And I'll bring in the Native 5 here. And you can see the profile of that blade is a lot less on the Native 5. Alright, on to the differences between these two knives. And what I'm trying to do right now is just show you that the texturing in the Native 5 is more aggressive than the one on the Para 3. It's the same bi-directional pattern that you see on Spyderco knives for their lightweight designs. And they're both made of FRN, but you can see here that the nubbies, they're just higher than they are on the Para 3. They're just a lot flatter and smoother. So it's a definite detractor from the Para 3. In fact, when you open up the Para 3, because both of these knives don't have lining, like when you knock on it and you feel it, it just sounds plasticky and cheap compared to the Native 5. When you fling this thing open, it just sounds way more solid. So in this case, I don't know what happened with the texturing on the Para 3, but I would go with the Native 5. And as mentioned before, we talked about the differences between these two pocket clips. And I gotta say, between these two, I really like the look of this deep carry wire clip that the Para 3 has. It is reversible, but you can't carry it tipped down. So if you're gonna want that, you want to look into the Native 5 because it is ambidextrous, left and right-handed, and you can carry it either tip up or tip down. Now both of these knives have different locking mechanisms, and depending on what you feel comfortable with, could be a deal breaker on deciding which one to buy. So the Para 3 has Spyderco's compression lock, and the way that it works is, as you swing the blade open, there is a metal tab here that locks into the back of the tang. So it's kind of like a liner or a frame lock just on the top, but because it's on the top here, what it will allow you to do is close this with one hand without your fingers being in the path of the blade there. Now, because there's no spring tension here, it's also a very smooth action. So what you literally have to do to flick it open is just get it past right about here and flick it open. So if you want a smooth one-handed closing action, you're going to go with the Para 3. And the Native 5 has a lockback design, so as you start to play with the blade here, you can feel that spring tension in there. And it's a very smooth action, very safe. It's just that closing it can freak some people up because you can't just press this down to unlock it. You got to get your fingers where the blade is going to close. So you just got to be a little bit careful. Close it. The lockback opens here and it just folds down like that. So depending on what you're looking for, you might want to go with the Para 3 because it's so smooth. Or if you don't mind the spring tension on the blade, maybe you want to do the Native 5. And as far as grips go, they're very similar as well. They both have nice scalloping in the front here, nice and smooth so you don't get any hot spots for your front finger. The Para 3 does have more contouring in the palm swole area, but I don't really notice a difference when I'm hanging onto it, and my fingers fully fit onto the knife when I'm gripping it back here. Now, if you want to step it up to the front finger choil, both of these in the hand are very comfortable. And as far as blade shape goes, the Para 3 has a clip point design, while the Native 5 has a drop point. You can see the swedge right on top of the Native 5 on both sides. So hot right now. Both, I think, are adequate for EDC purposes. Both have jimping up here on the thumb wrap. There's a good look at the thickness of the blades here. And of course, on the Native 5, you're going to get S30V versus the BD1N on the Para 3. Both of these steels are great. It's going to be tough to decide which one you want to get. But both are adequate, more than adequate enough for EDC purposes. Alright, so which one of these two knives am I going to pick? Gotta tell you guys, it's still a tough decision. The Para 3 with this compression lock, how you can close it with one hand and how you can flick it open when you want to. It's got that super awesome deep carry wire clip. It's really comfortable in the hand. It's a tough choice, but I gotta tell you, I think I like the shape of that drop point blade better, and the texturing on this handle is so much more grippy than the one on the Para 3. I think I'm going to have to switch to the Native 5. I don't really flick open my blades anyway, and that clip is pretty standard. It's not so bad, and it's for those reasons I'm switching to the Native 5. Guys, that's the ending of the video. Remember, if you want to purchase either of these two knives, make sure to check the links in the description below. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Chemo365, please do. And remember, I'll catch you guys laters.